My name is Dr. Verena Roberts, and I'm coming to you from Calgary today, Treaty 7 territory. But I am doing a lightning talk about the ZTC program at my new institution, which is Thompson Rivers University. So I'm usually with the University of Calgary as an adjunct professor, but today we're just going to focus on my daily job, which is again with Thompson Rivers University as an instructional designer. I'm going to talk to you today about the importance of thinking about OER. Now, this note was sent to someone who participated in the ZTC program. And it says, thank you so much for providing the PDF for the textbook and lab manual. I lost my job, I was forced to move and had $0 in my pocket, but forced to go to school. And by you doing this, it is helping me to get closer to my goal of finishing school. I truly appreciate this amazing resource you provided to your students. Thank you. And I think I'm reading this because this is why we're doing this. We are doing this for the students. We are providing these, what we call the program to lower the financial barrier, eliminate the cost of textbooks and other resources for their entire pathway to credential, and providing faculty members with academic freedom to modify course materials. That is what the ZTC, or Zero Textbook Cost Program, is all about. And really, that's what open educational resources are all about. As we know, open educational resources are learning, teaching, and research materials in any format and medium, not just a press book, not just text, that reside in the public domain or under copyright that have been released under an open license that permit no cost access, reuse, repurpose, adaptation, and redistribution by others. And they also usually have an open license. But when we're looking at zero textbook cost programs, I want to make sure that everyone understands that we're not just using resources that have the open license. Because when we look at them, we're also thinking about library ebooks or other library resources. However, we also have to take into consideration the rising costs of ebooks for higher education. So as publishers and ebook publishers in particular have realized the possible potential of open educational resources, the prices of ebooks are increasing. So I know that at our library in particular, we have no ebook textbooks to support our learners. Examples of zero textbook costs could be an open textbook or a press book. Start looking for Creative Commons licensed content as a nonprofit community project or research project being designed around your curriculum. Earlier today, we heard about the Diner Fund project which promotes the psychology courses. So that's an idea of a nonprofit organization that are intentionally creating resources that can be used within our classrooms. Classrooms being online, blended, face-to-face, whatever the possibility. Are there citizen or open science projects that are being used? Right now in some of our classes, we're looking at entomology and we're looking at bugs and creatures that in BC in particular, in open science projects or citizen science projects that can be integrated into our courses, as well as geography courses, in particular when we're bringing in some of our Indigenous communities. There's some amazing community-based programs that are sharing their resources that support geography and how we can think about geography differently. Are there any MOOCs that actually have CC licensed content? This is always a bit of a tension when MOOCs close and you can't access the content or it's not CC licensed. I'm not saying you're going to go in and take out the content without being allowed to, but there are many MOOCs, massive open online courses, that actually have some content that you could use. What other content can be found in the public domain? Is there some content that's been out there for 100 years that you could use? And things like math, LaTeX, like what kind of content are you thinking about? And as we just saw, we had the math and the LaTeX, but also Jupyter Notebooks, H5P. And finally, the idea of designing with no need of cost resources from the beginning. Community-based projects and courses like DS-106 connect directly to an online community and contribute open resources at the same time as building community. So what's exciting about British Columbia, and not Alberta, unfortunately, is in April of 2019, Melanie Mark, the Minister of Ministry of Advanced Education and Skills Training, announced the funding of $3.26 million towards open education in British Columbia. There is a need for support and development of open educational resources. The exciting thing is today, when I'm looking at the open educational resources that are being shared here through Alberta, I can use those resources in British Columbia as well. And I would hope that you would use the British Columbia created resources, even, even though they may have been created in British Columbia first. Some of the challenges of the ZTC program are the degree-wide faculty buy-in, that idea of faculty engagement, the awareness and understanding of an OER. Still to this day, many people don't understand how they can integrate and use OER in their courses and classrooms. Locating OER course materials is particularly difficult, so that's where those amazing librarians come in many cases. For some reason, whatever reason it is, we have those pivotal textbooks that cannot be changed for whatever reason. And so changing that mindset or thinking about alternatives is a challenge for sure. And there's software competition. VitalSource, for example, at Thompson Rivers University is causing some concern because of the nature and the idea that it is cost effective rather than cost savings per se for cost for ZTC programs. Now here on the bottom, I also put some support resources with the Pressbook, the Zero Textbook Cost Agreed Toolkit, which is a Pressbook, so you can actually check it for more information. And I will obviously share this PowerPoint at the end. However, there may be challenges, but there's always opportunities. So we have instructional for full course design, campus-wide collaboration, the bookstore as a partner, library as a partner, instructional for a course design that considers open pedagogy. Completion timelines are often not enough, so think about that ahead of time. And another advantage is marking ZTC courses in the registration system. But most importantly, it's the graduation of our students. And the fact that the impact leads to savings, which we currently see in BC is in excess of $14 million. So thank you very much.